Hello everybody, welcome to my ongoing series covering great graphic novels for your middle school classroom. This week I reached out to Oni Press Publishing and they sent me a bunch of great books for your middle school classroom, and it is my pleasure to review them for you today. I'm the comics teacher. The first title that I'm going to be talking with you about today is Ghost Hog. Ghost Hog is by Joey Weisner, and Ghost Hog follows a hog that was killed by a hunter, tear, I know, it is pretty sad, by the name of Truff, short for Truffles. And Truff is filled with a lot of anger. And Truff, the ghost hog, sits on this hill and kind of scares kids that come up there, and Truff has become this like urban legend, right? Truff is trying to find the hunter that has allowed her to meet her demise, but at the same time, she doesn't understand that her parents have been looking for her and have no idea what have happened to her. Well, in their town, there's this group a demon-esque, there's this giant troll monster thing that is collecting people, like stealing them and forcing them into slave labor to work for them. And when Truff finds out about this, she kind of changes her focus to getting revenge for her own death to helping out her friends and family from her town. And along the way, she befriends a couple creatures that help her out in her quest. And this book is all about discovering what's important to you and your priorities. So it is amazing for younger middle grade classrooms to help students figure out themselves what's important to them and have these conversations, maybe with each other or with parents or with the teacher, as to what their priorities are. And when your emotions may get the best of you, how do you deal with those things and react? So Ghost Hog by Joey Weisner is a really fun book. It's funny. It's really cute. The art style is very cute. I'll just say that it is. The color is very pastel-y and fun. So while it does deal with these issues of death and revenge, it doesn't do it in that heavy of a way that's going to turn some people off. So there you go. That is Ghost Hog, your first book of the day. All right, the next three books we're going to get into kind of follow a certain theme, and that certain theme is the loss of a parent. The first one we're going to talk about is The Sunken Tower by Tate Howard. This book follows an orphan boy named Digby. Now, Digby lives on his own, and he has this spell book that was he's not a wizard per se, but he can use magic with this spell book. It was given to him by his mother, and he ultimately gets kidnapped by this group that is trying to collect 3 creatures for sacrifice to this monster that is going to then unleash heck on this earth, right? Or on their earth, I should say. And the book is the world that the book creates. It's not just like humans and creatures and monsters and animals. They're all living together. So it's kind of this unique blend of people coexisting in this world, right? So when Digby gets thrown into this jail, he meets Iana and Krina, who were also there, captured to be part of the three creature sacrifice. And then it becomes their main goal to escape this place and end the terror that these creatures are putting on this world and this town that they are all kind of from. So the art it's really neat. There's some really cool panel construction going on in this book because the caves that they're captured in, there's lots of different tunnels and it's very maze-like. So the artist, Tate Howard does this really cool thing of putting you in this world in these little mazes and being with them as they try to get out. And they know that there's this it's called the Sunken Tower, because there's this sunken city below the ground, and they know if they get to this tower that there might be a way out of this little maze for them, because if they get lost down here, it could be the end. So it is about friendship and discovering what your calling is. And ultimately, as you can probably tell, the spell book comes into play, and Digby has to become a hero quicker than maybe he wanted to. So it's a really cool story. I dig it. I like the friendship aspect of it. It's very unique, very action-packed, this story is, and also very, very appropriate for your middle school classroom. So that is The Sunken Tower. Our next title is Sheets by Brenna Thumler. Sheets follows our protagonist, Marjorie, she's about a late middle school, early high school, I believe, student whose mother has recently passed away. And her dad has fallen into a deep depression because of the passing of the mother. Now, the family owns a laundromat that the mom has owned since she was 19 years old. But because the dad has fallen into this depression, Marjorie kind of has to keep the business going on her own while she is dealing with schoolwork and friends and, just being a teenager and navigating that landscape. So she is a little bit of a social outcast in this book, as we will find with our next protagonist, who has also lost parents. And while she is figuring out this world, there is a man who is the evil guy, right, who is trying to take the laundromat and give them an ultimatum that they can't make their bills and they need to kind of give him the laundromat, and he'll in turn let them sleep in the apartment above, while they work there. But on top of all of that, this book also explores this idea of this world of ghosts. And the ghosts are like in sheets, right? This is why I get the title of the book, Sheets, and the laundromat, and they clean the sheets there. There's a lot of, dual meaning to the title Sheets here. But the ghost world is very much like ours, except the ghosts kind of exist there. We have this one ghost whose name is Wendell, who likes to spend more time than usual into the real world here, into the world where Marjorie lives. And they become acquaintances and friends, and their relationship grows a little bit as the book goes on. And their relationship definitely does play into the final act of this book. It's really unique in that you're not going to see, I'm not going to say you're not gonna, but I have not seen a ghost story toned in this sort of way. And I wouldn't necessarily call this a ghost story. It's not horror. It's not scary. It's more sad, right? From the two main characters we have here, the ghost Wendell and Marjorie, and how they're figuring out life. Marjorie without a mom, and Wendell without a body and without being a person anymore. And it's kind of beautiful in a way. So I would definitely recommend this book for, once again, for students or people who are dealing with finding themselves in the world, with common theme that's happening in these YA books, or the middle school books, as we go through these reviews. And yeah, let's move on to our fourth book, but that was Sheets by Brenna Thumler. Our fourth book is Pilu of the Woods, and that is by Mai Nguyen. Pilu, Pilu, it's right here, of the Woods, is this is probably, of all of the books this week that I'm reviewing, I think the art in this book is the most beautiful. The earth tones, and you can tell by the cover, the subtlety of the line work, and the pastel-y earth tones of this book make it absolutely gorgeous. I love the way this book looks. So once again, we have a character who has lost a mother, and this girl is named Willow, and Willow has lost her mother, and the dad works a lot, and she kind of lives and navigates life with her sister and her dog Chicory. The problem Willow has, and I mean problem I say lightly because we all deal with anger at times in our life, is that she is very angry. Cool thing this book does is it deals with her emotions and her anger as little creatures that are little angry looking, like ghost creatures that are in bottles. So when she is suppressing the emotions, they kind of get bottled up, right? And then when she can't suppress those emotions and that anger and that fear and that sadness, they kind of come out and they kind of take over. So she runs off into the woods one night after an argument with her sister, and then she meets this fairy sprite creature named Pilu, who has like flowers and like leaves growing out of her hair, and she's kind of a fairy creature, but she looks human. And they quickly become friends. And Willow is trying to help Pilu get back home, and Pilu ran away from like the same reasons that Willow did. She was angry with her family and just trying to be on her own and get away. And she quickly realizes that she has a lot of these same issues. But as the anger and the fear bubble up and these monsters keep coming to the surface and keep getting bottled up, they start taking over the characters, and it becomes a discussion about how to deal with emotions and what do you do with that, and accepting fate, and not just bottling your stuff up, but dealing with your emotions. So in a way, not only was this book probably my favorite art style, I think the themes and the way the story is told was probably my favorite in that way as well. It's just cool, and to visually represent those emotions that are bottled up, that not only adults but a lot of children are still, like, we hopefully as adults figure out how to deal with our emotions, even though it's hard for us. Kids sometimes don't understand that, right? We deal with our students all the time acting out or blowing up because they haven't had the proper training or practice in dealing with real human emotion. And I think this book sets the stage to have those conversations as well. This could probably be a class set of a book in an early middle school classroom to tackle those issues and have serious conversations. And I bet this book, these characters, would help students open up about those sorts of things that they are experiencing in their own life. So as I went into these reviews just now, I didn't know I would be this passionate about this book. So it really tells me that this probably was my favorite of the week that I was sent from Oni. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful book. Pillow of the Woods by May Nguyen. I would definitely check this one out. The final book of the 5 is much more lighthearted. We're not dealing with any missing or deceased parents, all right? It's called Space Battle Lunchtime. Space Battle Lunchtime, this is volume 1, and there are currently 3 volumes of Space Battle Lunchtime, and it is by Natalie Reese, and it is a really neat book about this baker, Earth baker, named Penny, and she gets basically taken up into space for an intergalactic cooking show, and she becomes the Earth contestant on this intergalactic cooking show. It has bold colors. It has really fun art. The cast of side characters. She's the only human, if I recall correctly, like that's in because she's on a giant spaceship competing on an intergalactic cooking show. So, you know, they give her this cool outfit, and they record shows. And as somebody who is a foodie and loves cooking shows forever, when I read this book, it was right up my alley, right? Fun comic, funny, cool sci-fi premise about a cooking show. It checked a lot of my boxes, and it is super fun. Now, the neat thing about this book is if you read it with a student or parents, you want to read it with your kids, there's lots of opportunities to have conversations about food, about competition, because there's a lot of competition happening in this book. So what does it mean to compete? What does it mean to be a winner and a loser, right? Not a loser, but somebody who doesn't win. How do you deal with those things graciously? And fairness, right? Having these conversations about what's fair and what's not fair, because guess what? Not everything is fair when it comes to competition, right? So Space Battle Lunchtime, and what a cool title, Space Battle Lunchtime. It's just fun. So I wanted to leave you with that fun book today. All right, before I get out of here, couple things I want to tell you about. Number one, I want to thank Oni Press for sending me the digital copies of these books to check out, to bring to you today. And they sent me a few other ones too, so there might be another Oni Press Lion Forge. I had the merger there. There might be a couple more, might be one of those coming up in the middle school in the next couple weeks. The second thing I want to tell you is that they did send me a link to the Forging Connections newsletter. So if you are interested in receiving the bi-weekly, I believe it's bi-weekly, newsletter from Oni Press Lion Forge Comics, I put the link in the description below, and you can click on it and sign up. And they send cool stuff. They're sending lesson plans. They're sending digital arcs of books for teachers to check out. If you want some cool resources from a company that is putting out really great books for graphic novels for all levels, and comic books too, and graphic novels, click the link below, sign up for their newsletter. I have signed up for the newsletter, and I get some great things from them. All right. Last but not least, I want to make sure that you know that this is just a series of middle grade graphic novel reviews that I've been doing. I put this video in my playlist with all the other middle grade graphic novel reviews. So if this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Sorry, my furnace just went on. I hope that's not too loud for everybody. But make sure you do that, and then click on the rest of this playlist to watch a bunch of other middle grade graphic novel reviews. And I'll be doing this series. There's going to be 10 videos total, 5, so 50 middle grade graphic novels I'm going to be bringing you, and I got some great things coming up after that. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.